I've been delaying this video a little bit because I wanted to get more familiar with the camera and a variety of reasons. So what this is it's one of my first videos on the new Canon 5D Mark III. And what you have in front of you here is my opening segment on just comparing the two cameras, the 5D3 and the 5D2. And I'll say both are extremely good cameras. And the net of my summary so far between the 5D3 and 5D2 is that the 5D3, in my opinion, is basically just an incremental update to the 5D2. Canon had an extremely successful camera with the 5D2. I think they took the low-risk approach and just fixed the things that people probably complained the most about in that camera and did just the incremental update. Visually, I obviously have two different lenses, the 24-105 on the 5D3 and a 50mm on the 5D2. So, I mean, you can see the marking 5D2 and over here 5D3. I'll just give you the top-down view first. There are some ergonomics changes that are nice and some button changes that are not so nice between the two. So I'll start off with the 5D3 is on the left side, 2 is on the right side, and try to give you a wider view. And basically, starting from the left to right here, the 5D3 has a locking mechanism on the mode settings, so you have to push this little button in here and then change where you want to use P, TV, AV, manual, etc. Versus the 5D2, there's just no locking mechanism there, which I never had any real problems with that shifting on me. I have another Fuji camera that this thing shifts all the time, but never had a problem with this. So it's a nicety. It doesn't necessarily get in the way or slow things down, in my opinion. But it locks it, push this in first, and then rotate the dial. Then you can see the dedicated on and off button right here, right underneath the dial, off, on, etc. Versus the switch that was down below here. I think I like the new style, the 5D3, dedicated up on top versus this on-off switch down here. Okay, anyways. Basically the same hot shoe component here. There is more magnesium alloy and more weather sealing on the 5D3. It's not 100%, but just more than the 5D2. So you have the shutter button, the same spot. Then you can tell that there's an added button, this M-FN. It's basically the focus point mode switch, and you can see it doesn't have it there. It has the jog dial, and it has all the standard white balance, autofocus drive, ISO, then the light on both cameras. That bar has not changed. Now let's look at the back side of the camera. This is the 5D2. You have this button here for the focusing again. You have the focus lock. Those have not changed. The autofocus button here, which is misleading. It's not really autofocused as we know it in a video camera, is unchanged. They now have a dedicated movie mode, so you can see the movie mode is off. You switch this to the left and it turns on, and then to start recording you hit this button to begin the recording. I like it. I prefer this method. I'm getting confused by it right now and I keep hitting the set button to start movies, so it's just a training issue now. If you never had a 5D2, you'll probably won't ever run into that issue. Okay, so what else? There's a kind of a joystick thing on both cameras still in the same spot. And there's the jog dial in the same spot with the set button, which is basically like an enter button through the menus. The 5D2 does not have a painted set on. Maybe it wore off on mine, I don't know. But it is on the 5D3. There's a dedicated lock bar setting here. I think it's probably for the jog dial and all those different things. And this is the new button here. It's basically a way to get into fast menus. What does that mean, right? Well, it's just it's a quick menu where you can change things like white balance and drive and different things like that. So that's it right there. The LCD is bigger on the 5D3. It's very nice. Quality is good. You know, what can I say? It's good. I prefer the LCD. In my other video, I'll tell you exactly how big it is. I'll just tell you now. Right now, it's 3.2 inches in size. It's so slightly bigger than the other one. And on the left side buttons here, you have the menu button, which is just slightly altered in location. You don't have this picture button up there anymore. You have an info button. So it just kind of tells you about your shot settings, how much room you have on the card, and then you have a leveler. Anyway, so there's that button, which was present in the old one as well, but not as many functions. You have a rating button where you can put in a file rating, so 1 through 5 stars. I played with it, but I haven't seen it show up in my Lightroom files yet, but I have not been looking for it. Zoom. So this is the kicker. They have this zoom button on this left side of the camera on the 5D3 that used to be here, and basically the focus point button here. And all you had to do is you're holding your camera with your right hand and push this in. And it's very handy to zoom in and then push it again for more zoom. So when you're doing macro videos, running macros like that, it's just very ergonomic to push the button with your thumb when you're holding the camera with your right hand. Here they put it entirely on the right side, and well, opposite side of your holding camera hand, and at least for me, right? And you just got to reach all the way over here. It's a pain. I will say before I get too negative about that subject, which I just don't know why they did that, you can remap this. In the instruction manual, search for custom features, remapping, and you can remap this button to the set button. So if you want to zoom, you just push this a couple times and it'll pop up and be the same function as this over here. Okay, so then we have the eyepiece is bigger on the back here than the 5D2. The viewfinder is 100% versus the 5D2 was not fully, very close but not fully. Let's look at the side, right side. And before I move on to the back, off the back, they have this, it's really hard to see, but this little indentation here in the back of the camera that is actually extremely nice ergonomically. Your fingers you're holding to the front right here, but it's like a spot for your thumb, and it's just very nice. It helps you have the camera more secure in your hands. Okay, so let's go to the right sides, and everything feels a little bit more solid with the 5D3 and a little bit more grip. It has a little bit of a grippy texture that I do like. Alright, there's not a whole lot to show you here other than the 5D3 now has an SD card ability. It's right up front here, and then right behind it is the CF card. So 1 and 2, and you can switch to those on the fly. And it's very nice. That's one of my favorite new features. Down here is the, I forget the technical term for it, but it's the background blur check, depth of field rather, check. And honestly, I've never had much luck with these buttons. You can push the button and things kind of darken out, and I don't know, I think I need to read some more on it, but they never really tell me anything. You can remap this to other features too, by the way. There's the lens release button. It's not changed that much. Let's look at the left side of the cameras now. There's a lot of changes here. So let me try to scoot the 5D2 in closer. Same quantity of ports. But really the big thing here is that it has a headphone jack now. And that was one of the big complaints about the 5D2 in the past. For professional video, you really need to monitor the sound as it occurs. So the headphone port, which I'm having a hard time seeing, is right here. And you still have the normal HDMI, AV out, your flash hookups, microphone. So it's similar basically, except for the microphone out. And you can do some reading on the HDMI out if you're really into high-end video and whatnot. There's a lot of debate about the quality of it being sent out of the HDMI channel there. I'll say it is higher quality than the 5D2. Alright, so that's the comparison. I mean, other than those things, the 5D3 weighs slightly more in my opinion than the 5D2. Not much more. I like the ergonomics of the 3 better. The 2 is very nice as well. And stay tuned for some following videos around the actual technical spec differences and just using the camera overall.